Well, it's another sunny and beautiful day here in Crestone, Colorado, at the feet of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. And I'm really happy to be here with another episode of Solutionaries. Today, we're doing something a little different. As you know, we typically do weekly broadcasts and we bring in different solutionaries. But right now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a small teaser, an introduction for an upcoming 5-week webinar series with our next guest. And it should be really fascinating. It's extremely pertinent at such a incredibly transformative time on the planet. And with that, I'd like to again welcome the Solutionaries, and I'd like to interview and introduce you to Reverend Maia Chrystine Nartoomid, who will be doing a webinar on reality war. So welcome, Chrystine. Maia.
Welcome to me. Thank you. Yes, indeed. I'm really happy to be here with you today, Michael.
Great. And really honored anytime that I get to have some discourse with you. And of course, you are also based here in Crestone, Colorado. You do amazing work around you. You have already existing internet series that you do with video. You have Blue Star Rising. And I know you do a lot of amazing work, and you consult and advise people from around the world. But today we're talking specifically about some really timely information that you want to bring forth about the concept of reality wars. So can you tell us briefly a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dig into what the webinar is going to be about.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to make this brief. I've been in this spiritual work since 1967, which kind of gives away my age, but I was very young when I started. I was a teenager, but I've been seriously, involved in it for that long. It began with light beings coming into my room and speaking to me and talking to me telepathically, and actually appeared to my mother as well. Not as much, they came to me, but they wanted my mother to feel good about it, so they came to her. All of this is a long story, which I plan to write about someday. And but it led to where we are now. And I have been writing this vast amount of material, which I've received through the Akasha, and my mentor Thoth Hurrah, who was presented to me through these light beings in the process of the whole evolution of the thing. So I've been writing since 1967, and many of my sciences, my original science writings, came to the attention of then astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who later founded the Noetics Institute, of psychical research, and I think it's called parapsychology. And he validated it, and this was in the 1970s that he validated it as being genuine work, genuine science, although he said at the time it was far beyond anything anybody could know about. But of course, nowadays it's more prominent. Anyway, that gave me the incentive to continue with my work. And so I have been doing it to this day. I have a vast amount of writing, but the last few years, mostly I've concentrated on my videos, because I can use that library, that vast vault of Thoth, as I call it, to draw from for contemporary understanding of principle and science and consciousness. I can go back to the 1970s, 80s material, and I can read it now and I can go, oh my God, because it references directly the situation that we're going through right now on the planet. So my videos, which I try to keep short, my personal videos address these things. I also do Blue Star Rising on YouTube channel, which is hosted by my colleague Michael Henry Dunn, but is primarily focused on my Thothic work in presentations. I guess that's it.
And I know you have a lot of other projects and things that you're doing. You work a lot with Quantum Logic Interactive. You have some technologies that you work with. And I think as opposed to talking about all that, and it's really fascinating because obviously you were really a pioneer into this whole idea of spirituality and sciences and metaphysics and the relationship, and have 50 years of archives. But what's really fascinating every time we talk, that your message and the pertinence of what you've been saying over decades is extremely pertinent at this huge transformational time in the, the narrative of human history and our future, which kind of plays into the webinar that we're going to present called Reality War. So it's going to be a 5-week webinar for up to an hour on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. I know that you have themes for the first 4, and then after that, we're going to open up the 5th one if people would like to be able to have questions and answers and have some of your time to get deeper insights and understanding of these incredibly inspiring and sometimes complex teachings for people who are really starting to understand the quantum world. But can you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen over the course of those 4 weeks?
Yes. Well, each one begins with a short, under 30 minutes, sometimes it's 14, 15 minutes video that I've already created that really, because this is nutrient rich material. So I can't just sit there and go, well, this is that and that's that. It's just be too confusing. So I give it to you straight in a video, and then I elaborate on it, and we're going to discuss. There might even be a few questions come up at that time on that particular. We want to move along so that we have enough time to cover everything. So it begins with the video. I stretch it out a little bit. I go in a little deeper. Maybe someone prompts me and says, oh, but what about this or that? And we go into it. And that's the hour. And each one has a particular dimension about it, because the whole subject itself overall is about how the I don't know what my sources call it, OWL, One World Legion. It's called Elite, New Order, whatever they call it. But Thoth began talking about it in the 1990s to me, and he called it the One World Legion. These are terms he gives. He makes them up, I guess. He's giving me a terminology that we can identify with, and so that's what he calls it. So it's talking about their viewpoint and what they're creating and how they're working this and how they're drawing us in. But it's not just about all this bad stuff. We address the light quantum and how that's working and how we can be a part of that light quantum in releasing these conditional realities that are being imposed upon us, and very steadily now. But it's not a dark world. There's light there. But as Thoth said to me recently, and I must say this again, I'm going to be repeating it all over the place because I love it. And he said, all the light warriors right now, the true, seriously dedicated light workers, he said, you were born for this. This is the moment. This is the time we were born for. All the important things that have happened in our lives and our kids and families and spiritual work that we've done, me with Thoth and all of this stuff, it's wonderful, but it all was intended to lead up to now. So we can't be a faint heart. We can't say, well, can't they just come down on the ships and take us? Can't we just have a transformation now? Can't we? No, we were born for this moment, to live through this and with this and bring the light wave into the consciousness field for a reason. And I address that reason and I talk about it on the videos and in our webinar in general.
Great. So it's really an invitation to become a collaborative and interactive part of this huge transformation towards a new humanity, towards, some might call it a new earth or a new paradigm, and hopefully to inspire people to kind of discover their role of why they've incarnated and why they're here and what they can do to help co-create this narrative and kind of repair the timeline, let's say. So what are the 4 weeks and themes that you'll be touching on over that period of time in August?
Oh my, well, I'm going to have to bring it up just quickly. Here I have it on my computer because I haven't memorized it. I do a lot of work, okay? So I can't memorize it all. Okay, so the first one is, let me make sure that sound is up. It's called
I really like what you were saying too about interactive, because again, everyone does need to play a role. I know a lot of people are apathetic right now, or scared, or traumatized about all the collapsing that's happening. But I really appreciate you accentuating the light, that regardless of whatever is, falling away of the old way of being, and really, again, bringing people into a participatory part of this transformation. So thank you for inspiring that in people.
That's what I was born to do. So the reality war one, the first part, is defining our destiny, the Thothic perspective on how realities interact and entangle, and the human element, how humanity can refine and define its focus in the reality it chooses. That's the first one. The second one is called A Giants of Catalina. Giant skeletons, time travel, the green door portal at Toyon Bay, and intrepid Templar mission to heal the fractured timelines. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And it covers a lot of things more than it says in the title. Okay, this is probably the most interesting and in-depth one of the lot. So I'll say that. Then the next one, the third one, when I was taping this, it was that's an old term. When I was recording this, it was around the time when this April 18th thing was coming up. So I addressed that, targeting April 18th, 2020, but really it's also understanding the science of the timelines and how to work with them. And then the very last one, the fourth one, because these are all, as I said, short videos, and then they are discussed. So the fourth one is understanding how the electromagnetic zones of the planet operate interdimensionally and are being manipulated by the dark agenda. Also insight into the interactive dynamic of the electromagnetic zones in allowing the soul to have multiple life experiences, how we can choose the reality we wish to embrace as a world entity. So that's it.
Wow, fantastic. And like we were saying, if people, after going through these 4 webinars, listening to you and to the videos and such, and if they want the 5th week, we could have the opportunity for some direct interaction with you and some question and answers. And again, I want to emphasize that you've been doing this a long time. Your work is extremely potent, life-altering and changing and authentic. And like I said, people call you really from all over the world for insight and consultation. So this is a very unique opportunity at such a zeitgeist moment of the transformation of humanity and the planet. And you're offering people some real tools on how to take control of their own spaceship, their own sovereign spaceship, and how to navigate some of the challenges of this time. So with a few minutes left, again, this is going to be a webinar series. It's going to be 4 Wednesdays in August at 3 p.m. General Mountain Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Time. And if people can't watch them live, we can, make accommodations where they can have access to the videos, because the most important thing is getting the information out. But is there anything else before we complete this teaser that you'd like to share with people, just so they can understand really what to expect in August?
Yes, and we will have one in September, the first week of September, for not just the question and answer, but really consolidating and bringing it all together. And in each of the 4 parts, people will be able to interact a little with me, but it's mostly information, but we'll talk a little bit. But the last one is going to be just a complete roundtable on it, and discussion on it. So I guess that's all. But bear in mind that all of this information is based on 50 years of information. So there's references to this and references to that. So when you get into this, you can go to my website, got my videos, and you can literally go into a study of the whole picture that Thoth has presented to me, that all the beings have to me, but primarily my mentor Thoth, from 1967 until 2022.
Right. And if people are feeling really, activated through your work, they can also get involved in the Vault of Thoth, your Blue Star Rising series. And then also, I know you're doing work with Quantum Logica, interactive technology. I know you have some other events coming up, and I mean, you have a whole universe of things that you're doing. So Maia, Chrystine, Nartoomid, thank you so much for your time. I'm honored to get to know you and to be a neighbor here in Crestone, which is one of those portals that is hyper accelerating the narrative of the family of light coming together and helping to co-create the future. And I really appreciate your time. I'm really looking forward to having this opportunity for a deep drop in. And anything you'd like to add before we conclude for today?
No, except I just want to stress that, yes, Crestone, the Sacred Valley, is very much a part of my work. And that's something else that's brought out, not necessarily in the Reality War series, but in my life work and why I'm here and everything. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I also want to acknowledge your colleague, Michael Henry Dunn, who I know helps to host the Blue Star Rising and does more than his share of service and helping to elevate the human condition. So a big shout out to him and acknowledgement for him and all the work that both of you do. Again, I'm Michael DiMartino. Thank you for tuning in. This is just a brief teaser. You can see the attached information about how to enroll for this ongoing webinar series and to get more involved and to be inspired and be an active part of the change. Because as you said, Maia, we are the ones and now is the time. It's showtime. So we'll keep moving forward. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rainbow and the beautiful environment that you are in. So thank you.